Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the crunkest show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. I got the Queen, Demetra K. And I am the 5-star general. If Martin Luther King was living and locked on my front door talking about let's go march, I'd probably give him a stern no. Say, man, is marching and protesting what it's supposed to be? Or is it just a waste of time? Tonight, we're going to talk about it, so y'all get a seatbelt. This going to be a good one. And you might want to hide the women and children for this one, because I ain't going to hold back. Say, man, I want to welcome y'all to another episode of the War Zone and remind you, as I normally do, that you guys are the greatest audience in the world. And we really, really appreciate you tuning in. I want to say this here. I'm going to leave the news up to my man, Donovan. But if you have not tuned in to the War Zone morning show, you are really missing a treat in the morning time. I want to send a shout out to my man who got into a heated debate this morning with Demetra K. My man, Rodney Bingham, my co-host, comedian, man, been all on BET everywhere, man. Good dude, man. Always working in the community for years and years. But you guys need to tune in because tomorrow is Wet and Wild Wednesdays. And I'm going to dedicate this show to all my soldiers and soldierettes in the projects across the United States of America, because I'm going to help you accomplish a goal in the morning. By 8:30 in the morning, I can guarantee you with the playlist that I put together, you will make a baby. So you might need to tune in the morning for the morning show. Go download the app. That's the only way you can hear it. I mean, people downloaded it. They can hear the music. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But, man, thank y'all for tuning in. I got 35,000 subscribers. So can I get 35,000 people to download the app? It's free. It's free. I don't make no money off you downloading the app. I just want you to hear a good morning show on your way to work or whatever you're doing around the house so that you can start your day off in a good mood. Donovan, what's going on, my friend?
Hey. Like I said, you guys, that morning show is supposed to be on fire. I have downloaded the app and I haven't had to get into it. I've been busy with the Santa Ana winds. We got fires in California, earthquakes, and massive gale winds that happen and just destroy your property. And people ain't got no money to repair their properties, but you own a house, but you ain't got no money to keep it up. But anyway, in the news today, as you guys know, what's her name was confirmed as a Supreme Court judge, and Uncle Clarence Thomas, did a ceremonial swear-in, and and Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats have said, oh, well, let your voice be heard, go and vote. We gotta, that's gonna, fix everything. She's already confirmed. She's on there for life. So what's the point of voting at this point? Your legislation thing, whatever the trick you're going to try to do, good luck with that as well. So that's one of the biggest things that is going on. 63 million people have voted, record breaking. And also, if you guys saw the interview with Kamala Chameleon Harris, they labeled her the most liberal senator ever in this cycle or whatever. She's been voted the most liberal senator. Now, remember when she signed on for Bernie's universal health care and all this other stuff? Always remember this. She said this in the interview. Whatever Joe wants to do is what I support. So all of that bullshit was for show. She is not liberal. She doesn't give a damn. It's on her road to power. So I just want to say this to the backbone of the Democratic Party. Way to go, Black women. Way to go. Way to turn your backs on us. And of course, as I've always said, a lot of y'all are sleeping with the enemy anyway. Demetra?
So hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday night edition of the War Zone. And just really quick off the top, if you guys see the Cash App up there and you feel so liberal to do so, go ahead and hit the Cash App, whatever you have, so that we can continue doing all that we do here. And so, Gary, can you put up, share the screen really quick? All right. So as you guys see here, and I'll get into all of that in just a second, but yesterday, Cedric Richmond, he's a representative of Louisiana. He was on the Joe Madison radio show. You guys know Joe Madison is a political pundit. It's been around for a long time. Well, while he was on the show, and Mr. Richmond here is the co-chair, the campaign co-chair of the Biden's campaign, if you will. And he said that Ice Cube was not told that. That didn't happen. Those were his words. That didn't happen. Now, what didn't happen? He says that they didn't tell Ice Cube to come back after the campaign. Basically made it seem like Ice Cube was lying. He said that they had a Zoom meeting and this, that, and the other. And so Ice Cube on Twitter, he put up, well, instead of going back and forth, Congressman, please release the Zoom meeting so the world can see what was said by all. Now, I said that yesterday when I saw all of this unfold, and everybody's like, see, I told you Ice Cube was lying. Ice Cube's a liar. I knew that this Richmond, the Representative Richmond was lying, because it's like, well, why wouldn't you release the Zoom meeting if that was the truth, right? And so here comes Ice Cube saying, we'll release the Zoom meeting. And so we know that we're like less than a week until the election takes place. And so everybody's going to send out their hound dogs, or their if you will. And when I say hound dogs, especially the Black political strategists and campaign managers and all of that, they're going to sick those people out on our people being Ice Cube, to discredit him. And so I believe that, especially, you know, Representative Richmond and the rest of the Democrats, not just the Biden campaign, they know that they have the momentum on their side in regards to, you know, a lot of people being mad at Ice Cube, hating Ice Cube, lying on Ice Cube, saying that he's forged an alliance with Trump and he's endorsed Trump. And even Representative Richmond was like, well, I don't believe Ice Cube endorsed Trump, but basically, you know, it was a bad time. And so now he did say in that same interview, we told him to flesh out his proposal. So it's like, what the hell does that mean? What does it mean to flesh out the proposal, right? And so to me, it's no surprise that these cats being the Democratic people, especially the Black ones, are lying for massa. You know, and the crazy part is that, you know, they mad at Ice Cube, but they forgiven Joe Biden. Joe Biden, you know, he said, well, I made a mistake. And again, he never did say, I'm sorry for what I did for destroying a whole generation of Black people. He never said he was sorry. He said he made a mistake. And so we got all these droves of Black people, Negroes, forgiving Joe Biden. Well, he said he made a mistake, but you're mad and you never forgive Ice Cube. You're going to cancel Ice Cube. Ice Cube is dead to me. And I've seen it all. And I just think that is just so odd. But Ice Cube has called old dude out on the carpet and said, prove it. If you told me, if you're calling me a liar and when this happened all on Zoom, prove me to be a liar. The ball's in your court. Gary?
I want to send a shout out to my man, Chris Unity Bernard up in Lafayette, Louisiana. And this representative, this African-American representative is from the state of Louisiana, and he's more concerned with Ice Cube than being concerned with a bunch of dead Black men that have died by the hands of law enforcement in the state of Louisiana. That concerns me to the highest degree. And that leads me over into what we want to talk about tonight. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all that some people are going to get upset with me, and I don't really care, because I'm going to speak my truth, and that's what I'm going to stand on. Progressive politicians, Kamala, Joe Biden, Trump, nobody gave a damn about people being killed by law enforcement until, and it wasn't because Chauvin put his knee on George's neck. It wasn't until a bunch of white and Black youngsters or whoever started tearing up your damn cities that you found the guts to even say anything about anything that was going on. Now, my problem is this is still happening. You know, I got my ideologies about the shooting in Philadelphia last night. It could go either way for me on that one. It definitely could go either way for me on that one. But the problem is even after George Floyd, months after George, you know, we're still dealing with the same problem. So that tells me that our methods of dealing with these problems is not working. It's not working. So today I'm, you know, I do the show and get out and I campaign for my people, and then I come in and I take me a quick nap, and then I wake up and I see a group, Unity, not Unity 7, and that's because that's Chris's group, but a group called The Village up from Lafayette, Louisiana, that was at the governor's mansion, and they were protesting, and then eventually they laid on the ground, and they, you know, blocked the driveway, and all of a sudden you heard them singing songs. I know most of y'all in that group, and I'm gonna tell you something. This is not 1960. That shit don't work. There need to be some conversations. This is something that I teach people everywhere I go. There need to be some conversations, and it need to be some come to Jesus conversations. And my conversation is normally the same thing. Look, if we can't find some common ground, then I'm gonna let these motherfuckers tear up your city, because I ain't got to do a damn thing, because you ain't gonna do a damn thing. I have a problem with us continuously marching, continuously singing, but these people are continuously killing. And we don't seem to understand that the blueprint, I mean, if you watch NFL football, the game evolved so much from the 1960s to the 2000s. It was unreal. You know what I'm saying? They started keeping stats on sacks. They, you know, you had Air Coryell come in with the San Diego Chargers. He brought the passing game in. You know, all of a sudden you got Wildcat offenses. Shit changes according to times. So why are we still doing the same thing that we were doing in the 60s? I am not in tune with marching nowhere and getting my head split open, dirtying up my good cheap clothes, laying on the damn ground to accomplish a goal that ain't being accomplished. Now, I started right there, and if you're mad right now, I'm gonna piss you off worse by the time I get through. Donovan?
Exactly. I say on the show all the time, the definition of madness and insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. We are in the 21st century. The reason why we keep doing this, and I know some people are going to get mad. You baby boomers are going to get mad. If you identify as a baby boomer, hey, I will give you all the props I need to give you. But God damn, when are you going to let somebody else get some shine? Damn, you guys have done your job. How much more do you need? And when I talk about the baby boomers, think about our leadership as a nation. Who is still in power? The average time a generation holds power in the United States government is about 20 years. That is the average time. Okay, so that means about maybe 3 people could get elected in a cycle of a 20-year cycle. We are dealing with a 78-year-old man and a 74-year-old man. By definition, baby boomers. They are exactly the same. They bring their same bullshit with them. And, you know, my mom is a baby boomer. My parents are baby boomers. This shit's not working for us. It's not. It worked for you. It's not working for us. But see, these are the same people that will break your arm and call you a cripple because you didn't do what they did. Well, how the hell can I do what you did? You won't leave your job until somebody carries you out in a pine box. So I can't raise my kids. The jobs are very limited. You guys are staying there until you're damn near dead, 30, 40 years on the job. That makes no sense. You know, in Sweden and a lot of Western countries, once you retire from a job, if you got the thing to retire, you can go get another job. But guess how much you're getting paid, no matter what that job is? Minimum wage. That keeps the older generation from hogging all the good beneficial jobs for the younger generation. And what we have now in the United States is generational warfare. It doesn't work. We're in the 21st century. Things have changed. And you baby boomers, as much as you guys did in the 60s and being transformational, you became your damn parents. Remember that saying? Don't trust nobody over 30? That was you guys. Now you guys are in your 70s on average, and you guys still don't want to leave. You still, Demetra and I and Jerry's generation, we don't even have leadership. Our leadership has practically skipped over us and gone to the millennials. And then you guys wonder why the millennials are into socialism and give me, give me, give me. You want to know why? Because grandma and grandpa gave me, so I don't have to work for a damn thing. Demetra?
I know, excellent points. And I was going to say too, with the whole marching, see, it worked back then because their goals were different, right? And they were more hungry. They were like Jim Crow was at the door, right? I promise you, I'm not a rapper, it just rhymed. Jim Crow was at the door for our, people, our parents. And so they had a little bit more of a hunger. And like I said, their goals were different. They didn't like the blatant racism that they were facing. And so they had the wherewithal to get together and boycott against a whole bus system. Oh, my Siri thought I was talking to it. Sorry. Boycott against the whole system and shut it down and then actually get them to see it their way, even though we know that was counterproductive, but still, right? So ultimately, that led to, the civil rights movement as far as the voting rights and all of that. And so here we are. That generation, and Donovan, I actually think that generation spoiled us. Now, when I say spoiled us, they made us comfortable, right? Oh, we moved away from all the Negroes. We can now live and eat and sleep and shit with white people. And so you should be so fortunate. And the only thing that's different is our goals are different now, but the racism is still the same, right? And so the marching doesn't work because, especially now, we march, but we don't really stick to it. Like we get mad, like they in Philadelphia, they shot somebody else, they're marching and all of that. But how long will they do it? Is anybody really saying, okay, if we're going to march and protest, there has to be an end game, like they did with the bus boycott? The end game was we will economically starve the bus system until they give us what they want. We just get out there and protest and march and carry signs and stuff, and then we go away. And so, like, who's really scared of that nowadays? We're not putting any real consequence behind that. Like right now, you would think, in being in the middle of or at the end of election season, really, that there wouldn't be as many Black people being murdered wholesale, because maybe these Black people will wake up and say, you know what? Okay, fine. We're not going to vote until you guys actually give us some change. We're not talking about this bullshit you got in your platinum plan and your lift every voice plan. We ain't talking about that kind of stuff. We're talking about some real police reform. Nobody's doing that. I'm not saying that's not what some people who are out there marching and protesting want. But overall, where is it like written? Or like, where is it? If you guys don't stop killing Black people, we're going to do A, B, C, and D. Like, where is it?
I tell you, man, you said a mouthful. What are we going to do? As I go on my journeys, and I think y'all have been around me. Shoot, it'd be almost a year and a little bit we've been hanging out with each other. And you notice I go different places and I say a lot of foul stuff. I call people to the carpet. One, nobody has ever took me in a courtroom for defamation of character because they know I know what I'm talking about. Two, nobody has ever physically tried to do me anything because I live by a creed. There's repercussions for your actions. There's repercussions for your actions. I'm not going into details, but you can only imagine what I mean by that. So if you're going to get out here and you're marching and you're protesting, have you noticed something? As long as we're marching and we're protesting, the people that have a problem with us, they never say anything. They don't say anything. They don't get upset. They're not alarmed. You know why? Because they understand the blueprint. You Negroes ain't gonna do nothing but run your mouth for about a week or two. Then you're gonna go back in your house. They can kill another one. We'll figure out an excuse for that one, and you ain't gonna do shit about it. And I'm being honest with you. So my thing is why won't we switch up the blueprint? You know why we won't? And for those out there that'll say, well, marching is necessary. Well, here's the thing. I want to say this here because I told you I'm gonna piss you off tonight. If marching is so necessary, why the hell we got so many Black people that's not showing up for the marches? Why we got so many white people standing front line for us? You know why? Because you Negroes don't do nothing but run your goddamn mouth. That's all you do. You lead a game. The real frontline soldiers, we out on the front lines and we got to deal with it, bro. We got to deal with it, man. Any way, shape, form, or fashion. You know, I'm going to Minnesota. Never been there before. Get off the plane. I got 2 federal agents waiting on me. They know I'm coming, but they know the mentality of me. You see what I'm saying? There's repercussions for your actions. You see what I'm saying? But in our world in 2020, we ain't doing nothing but talking. We ain't bringing no smoke, man. Now, am I telling people to go out there and tear up shit? No. What I'm saying, we got to have a conversation. You put me in a room with, and I'm going to just go with the top dog. You put me in a room with Donald Trump himself. Well, Mr. Monroe, you know, black man, let me tell you something, homeboy. Y'all already outnumbered in this country. By the time your people stop standing by, we be done told this motherfucker up. Now, what I'm doing is I'm keeping my people at bay. So we need to get some of this stuff fixed. Now, if you don't want to fix it, I can stop talking to my people and I can go back to my life. And then what you will find out is you don't have enough National Guard. You don't have enough firepower to deal with these Negroes when they get loose. Now, when you have that type of conversation in those rooms, those closed door conversations, I don't come out the room and, you know, really try to blast them. I want them to think about it. And I want them to clearly understand that I'm not playing. See, because I don't have to do anything. And that's how I feel about you. He doesn't have to do nothing. Stop going front line for the black people that won't go front line for themselves. Now, it's okay if you got these good white people standing front line, but I want y'all to know something. Remember, I said I'm going to make them mad. You ain't got a white person walking that can lead me in a black fight. I'm sorry. It can't happen. You devalue what I'm trying to do. You're welcome to help me. You're welcome to walk behind me and help me. But I can't have you leading the black fight because you will devalue it. And that's what happens every single day when you youngsters or whoever get out there with all your Negro spirituals laying on. I'm not laying on no goddamn ground. I'm not finna keep begging for something that my tax money already paid for. Think about that statement. Donovan?
Yeah, 60 years ago, Malcolm X said, "Stop singing and start swinging." Now, what did he mean by that? He basically said the same thing we are still saying today on this show right now. They have shown you. I don't know if you guys have cataracts in your eyes or you're not seeing what is blatantly apparent. As long as you aren't going to do anything, neither are they. Now, in the death of George Floyd, in the couple of weeks that those protests, I don't want to say riot because that wasn't a riot. A riot is people just wilding out. In those protests, immediately they talked about police reform. Some cities started adopting it. I mean, it was like immediate because the shit would not stop. Not laying down, not singing, not listening to Pastor so-and-so getting stuff done. When the people you took to the streets and took actions into your own hands because you delegitimize a police department that you fund, which is in your right to do, look how quickly the politicians moved on police reform and talking about it and getting it done. We're not going to get anything done using a method that was used over 60 years ago in that period of time. 60 years ago, and I said this on the show several times before, you had a Malcolm and you had a Martin and you had other groups. They went to the white guy and said, look, you can deal with us or you can deal with him. Guess who they chose? Demetra?
And so, you know, in regards to what Gary is saying about not allowing white people to lead him in the struggle per se, Malcolm X also told us about that. He says, what happens when you add cream to coffee? Says it gets weak, you know, so it's the same concept. When we add No shade to white people. It's great that they want to help and all of that. But when we add them to our cause, it does weaken our cause. You know, think of something like George Soros, who is a big time Democratic donor who has given Black Lives Matter a whole lot of money. They're not going to specifically, you know, talk about helping Black people. They talk about helping everybody but Black people now, you know. So that's a whole different story. But Gary, you talked about also white people getting involved in the struggle. A lot of them, more of them are out there than us. So it seems, especially lately, they do it out of fear. They do it out of fear because they're like, okay, let us, you know, I can't speak for them, but I'm assuming, let us, you know, force some sort of alliance with the Negro because we want to come off as friendly in case they do decide to rise up and revolt. We want them to remember that, hey, you know, it wasn't all white people. Some of the white people was out there with you, but Black people, overall, we don't get out there and fight for what's ours because we're docile. We become docile. A lot of us are discouraged, I would say. Like, you know, we've been here since the 1600s, 1500s, even depending on who you ask. Nothing's changed. Everything's gotten worse. Every time we try, we don't get anything. Here we are still trying to get reparations. They're still killing Black people wholesale. They haven't passed this anti-lynching law for almost 200 years or so now. And they're still trying to, you know, so I get it why, you know, a lot of Black people are discouraged, but it's like, what do we got to lose? Well, like, what do we have to lose? I think it was Angela Davis that says, all we have to lose, we have nothing to lose but our chains. You know, we're already enslaved, whether it's mentally, depending on if you're in prison, you're enslaved, you know, like, so what do we have to lose at this point? What are we afraid of?
I get calls every single day. And I'm not talking about every other day, every single day. There's always something going on. That you know, 5-star, can you show up here, Mr. Monroe? No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You know, I believe that what you just said is true, that there's a lot of fear involved. That's why we're getting a lot of help on certain levels. But see, I commend the good white people for standing front line. But I have a problem. I have a serious problem respecting the strong, supposedly strong Black people in the communities that won't stand front line. I'm going to call one out. The NAACP of Lafayette, Louisiana. Let's call them out. Marjorie Broussard, I'm going to call you out. And you know why I'm going to call you out? Because behind the scenes, you have an ulterior motive. You have an ulterior motive. Let me show you how this works. Let me show you how these people be on the payroll, or they making money, and they sell us out the whole time. The NFAC went to Lafayette, Louisiana. For whatever the reason, they showed up and they did what they do. So can somebody tell me why the president of the NAACP in Lafayette, Louisiana was selling tables supposedly to an open venue park for $250 a table? What the fuck were you doing? What were you doing? See, I want people to understand that our leadership nowadays is a problem. Our leadership is a problem. So let me stay on you, Miss Broussard, and you can go to your attorney and you can, you know, maybe you want to file a defamation of character lawsuit. But always remember that if we go to court, I do have the discovery phase where I get to present the evidence, and I will destroy you in a court of law. You also have this little group that you're in where you want to charge local politicians to be on your slate cards or for you to endorse them. Endorsements are free. Endorsements are free. So why are you, as a member of the NAACP, charging politicians to politically endorse them? Hold on. But ain't this the same woman that supposed to have been frontline with the Trayford Pellerin and all this stuff? Well, let's go back and look at that. Go back and look at the flyers from when the NFAC was coming. She named everybody on the flyer that she could think of that had gotten killed by law enforcement except for Trayford Pellerin. And you want to know why? Because the NAACP, state, national, whatever, had already censored her. because there are certain things that you shouldn't be doing. So my thing is, the people that supposedly are front line, these motherfuckers paid off. They already bought and paid for. Think about where some of them get their grant money from. The state, from the local government. And then all of a sudden they get quiet, or they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that, because they're already paid for. And the people that don't get it think this is the same NAACP from the 1950s and 60s. No, this is the NAACP of 2020. And these Negroes are paid, and they out there putting good, strong people lives in danger. Shout out to Sister Crystal Muhammad and the new Black Panther Party, who consistently go down to Louisiana and they battle. They protect the residents of that state when they're out marching and they're doing different things. These are the real frontline soldiers. Brother Boumani from the new Black Panther Party, up in St. Louis. Brother Nasi from the new Black Panther Nation up in Minneapolis. These the true soldiers, man. And if you're going to line up behind somebody black in this fight, make sure it's somebody that already got a resume and they ain't sold out before they can even get out the gate. Donovan?
Nothing but facts, But I have a question, and my question is simple to anybody that's out there. As the years go by, as children, you're supposed to get bigger. You're supposed to get stronger. You're supposed to blossom into a young man or a young woman, correct? Why is it in the Black community, 60 years from when our parents were young people to where we're at now, why hasn't the Black community prospered? We haven't moved the ball much. I can't say not at all, but much. We are now in a pandemic. We are in economic crisis. The robots are coming to replace us for all those services jobs that we predominantly occupy. How are we going to survive here? How can you guys, and I don't care how you vote what your interests and your family and your pocketbook, but how can you guys be so dedicated to a party and parties that don't give a damn about you? Actions speak louder than words. And I ask people all the time here in my city and, in my area here in California, name me something the Democratic Party has done for Black people. And I catch them every time because they say, since 1968, they go back to, necessity. The Democratic Party didn't want to sign the Civil Rights Bill because, remember, the original Civil Rights Bill was introduced under the Kennedy administration. They couldn't get it through because Democrats didn't want to go through it. They blocked it. When Kennedy got assassinated, that's when Johnson put the pressure out of necessity because niggas were getting out of control. The rise of Stokely Carmichael, the rise of SNCC when SNCC went militant. That's when the pressure was put on. Wow, the 5-star, myself and others have just said, marching doesn't really get anything done. But when they change their tactics, all of a sudden, legislation started to the streets. Legislation started to move. And we're not talking about a little ass. 1992 here in LA, when Rodney King was getting his ass beat, we knew he was lying. A Hyundai can't go over 100 miles an hour. We know that. So we knew they were lying. When they took to the streets, that's when shit got real. So why can't you guys believe that you can do something else? This is not working. And I had this great thing I thought up this weekend. I was on Demetra K's show. When you go to a restaurant and you're getting terrible service, I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about? May I help you? Nah, nah, nah. Whatever, right? Do you guys tip the waiter if they give you bad service? Be honest.
Hell no.
Exactly. You don't tip them. So if the Democratic Party is giving you bad service, if the Republican Party is giving you bad service, why would you continue to tip them with your vote? Demetra?
I don't know. A very good question. I don't think you should tip anybody who's giving you horrible service. But in regards to the NAACP, don't they have enough money? I mean, why are they selling tables to people? And profiting off the struggle.
Me is odd because that really just that bothered me. You see what I'm saying? That whole setup that day was done by them, and it bothered me.
Yeah, they're profiting off the struggle. Y'all vendors want to come out here. There's going to be a lot of people here. There's a chance for you to make money, but we got to get money off the top. I would think NAACP has enough money, just like Black Lives Matter and all of the other Black organizations that are funded and started by rich white people. So not surprised by that, but like Donovan, I think he said that it's not the NAACP of back in the day when they were actually out there helping people. And I was reading Janelle's comment. I thought it was pretty funny. Where did she say? She says, my last experience with the NAACP was in 1991 at a youth conference. The only thing I got out of it was a good steak and blueberry cheesecake at the youth gala. And that reminds me of a time when Donovan and I were delving into the NAACP. We were invited to go up to Sacramento for a lobby day where you go and lobby the assembly people. And it was, oh my God, it was like, it was really bad. They were wanting to, the youth, we were there helping. They wanted the youth to go lobby the assembly people to draw up a bill to make it illegal for store owners to follow you around the store. To follow Black people around the store. They're like, why would you, like I said, wouldn't it be more effective just to tell these kids not to spend money where people don't want you there? Like, why would you want to go through, like, my head just wanted to explode, right? But, we get distracted, if you will, because, we have the dancing police. They come out there and they do the cha-cha slide with us. There was even a video, Donovan, I sent it to you, of Negroes dancing at the polls. They dancing, doing the wobble or something they was doing at the polls. And I'm like, this is what our problem is. We get so distracted by the dancing and the feel good. Oh, you're making the change. It's like, are you really? Or are you just out there just cutting the rug, right? So they know the tactics to use to get us off focus. Or to make us feel like, okay, well, we got the police out here, and so they really do feel our pain. They understand what we going through. So, maybe we'll calm down a little bit because it seems like we're making some. No, that's a tactic. Donovan will tell you, he's been in the military 24 years. That's a strategy. That's a tactic. You get the aggressor or the angry people calm.
It's a disarming tactic. It disarms you. It has you looking one way while they're doing something to you in another way.
Yeah. And so it works every time. And so, that's partially why it doesn't work. But it also, nobody wants to die. Asada Shakur says freedom is not free. It's going to cost somebody something, but we're not at that point anymore. We're not at our parents' generation, where they were willing to die for it. We just want to vote and continue to beg the oppressor to help us. Oh, please help us. Oh, and then get mad at other Black people because we're just sick of it. Like, I'm not going to continue doing the same thing and getting nothing. So you rather fight with Black people who say, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to let y'all fight over that. You rather fight with us instead of saying, hey, why don't we unify? Why don't we get together and come up with something? And somebody says something about we don't have effective leadership. We do have effective leadership. Like, I cannot, it's hard for me to hear people say we don't have effective leadership when we have Farrakhan, who has given most of his life to the struggle and to help Black people, like most of his life. It's not that we don't have effective leadership. We keep following the wrong leadership, as some would say, misleadership. We keep following the people who keep wanting us to tap dance and wait for it, or just wait for it. Or the leaders that say, well, we got to get Joe Biden in there right now. We're going to hold him accountable. That's the leadership we keep following instead of the leadership of the past. And even Farrakhan said, hey, what you voting for? Well, like, what's the point? You like, how about vote for ourselves as Black people instead of trying to wait for two old white dudes to do right by us? They ain't never gonna do right by us. Never, ever, ever. And the more we keep getting fooled by thinking, oh, if we just vote the good white man in, we'll be better off, the worse off we're gonna be.
Democracy. I watched the United States of America for many years go into foreign countries, and they feel like you violated us. So they go up in there and they tear shit up. And then they come back and they tell us the reason that we tore it up because we felt that these people were going to attack us and we were going to be unsafe. So hold on. So that's the blueprint, right? That when somebody is doing something to you, the United States of America, you're willing to fight. You're willing to sacrifice people's kids. You're willing to let them die. See, like Huey P. Newton just said on the thread, there is no democracy if you're not willing to die. So here's the game. In the United States of America by itself, Black people have been under attack for 400 years. And you're not willing to die? They give us the blueprint every time they want to do something. Let's look at the World Trade Centers when they blew that shit up. Oh, there's weapons of mass destruction. That was their reason for going overseas and starting that war and allowing a bunch of people, kids, they end up dying, supposedly to protect us. But we live here and we're not willing to die to protect ourselves. You ain't gonna get nothing changed in the United States of America for Black people until Black people stand up and say the hell with your Congressional Black Caucus, the hell with Pelosi, the hell with your president. Let's get gangster. See, when you make up your mind and you say this is what it is, I guarantee you that shit gonna change. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm not. When they went off after George, the motherfucker were cutting so many side deals, it was unreal. They willing to do anything to make it stop. You know why they wanted it to stop? It wasn't because they could send in the National Guard and they could handle it. They wanted it to stop because they couldn't handle it. They had no means of being able to handle it. You can bring in 1,000 National Guards, but in a city like Houston that has a 4 million plus population, what the fuck is 1,000 people gonna do? They got 1,000 guns in the VA apartments. These people are outnumbered and we have the upper hand and we refuse to stand up. There's not a Black politician that I can name that's gonna go front line and say enough is enough. Take my position, vote me out. But I am not gonna stand here and say that me going into a state house to try and get these laws changed is gonna get it done. It's a cutoff point with the foolishness. It's a cutoff point. So if you call in 5-star to show up, and I've said this before and I've angered some people, I'm not coming to your damn marches. I'm not going to the balloon releases. The hell with your protests. But when you're ready to tear some shit up, dial my number. I think I've already proven that. Dial my number. Because I've already died on an operating table. So, I'm going to be honest with y'all, when I was laying there and I was going, I saw bright lights. I don't think the devil was up there where I was putting for to go to. But the high power say, you got some more work to do. So I'm not afraid of dying. Always remember that you were born to die. You were born to die. So why won't you stand up like you're supposed to? And you Negroes out there with these contradicting ideologies and know we need to do this shit this way. Do what you do best. Hide behind your computer. Stay in your house. Be the educated philosopher that you are, because you ain't built for the war that we actually have to fight if it come down to it. Donovan?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's an old saying that when a person reveals to you who they are, you better believe them. These people aren't even hiding who they are anymore. They are not hiding who they work for. I mean, you know, we big up Obama. Okay, isn't it funny how Obama comes out the last 2 weeks and is just telling you to come out and vote, but he isn't telling you come out to vote for what? Just vote. Just come out and vote. Just vote Joe. Vote Joe. Joe's a good guy. He's my vice president. Vote Joe. Makes an appearance out of nowhere. Where was Obama, this black leader, when George Floyd was killed? Yeah, he made a statement. I didn't see him on any platform. I didn't see him marching. I didn't see him doing any of that stuff. But these are the people that we keep looking at for answers. The answers aren't coming from these people. They're not. They're telling you in your face, we don't give a damn about you. It's like being in a very bad relationship. It's almost, go watch the movie What's Love Got to Do with It. That is the relationship between black people and these politicians. They don't care. They're not hiding who they are. Kamala Harris, oh, I'm a progressive, I'm a progressive, I'm a progressive. But if you look at her record, that isn't the case. And now, because she's about to ascend to power, she don't care what you know. Pelosi, answer this. And I know I got a lot of questions. I always ask a lot of questions because I want you guys to think. How the hell did Mitch McConnell uphold Obama's Supreme Court pick for over a year? Over a year. And then this chick, record time, gets appointed. And what did the Democrats say? Nothing we can do. Nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. What the hell you mean there's nothing you could do? What did
I'm gonna tell you something they could have done. Mm-hmm. Instead of not showing up for that vote, they should have all showed up. And they should have voted no and let the public see them vote no. But what you're doing, just like you say, it was some Democrats that didn't want the civil rights movement. They are protecting white and black politicians that didn't have a problem with that woman being put in there. They knew what they were doing when they didn't show up. So yeah, they could have shown up. They could have voted no and let us see that you standing 10 toes down. But these people full of shit, man.
Right. But, you know, all the tricks that McConnell used to uphold that nomination for over a year. And during that year that they were upholding it, did the Democrats fight back? I mean, it's almost like what Wendell Champion said. They're playing the shell game and they're just hiding the thing. Put your $20 here. I'm going to move it. And you think it's over there and it's not. And you guys keep falling for it. Just go vote. I'm Obama. Go vote. Go vote. Vote for what? What's the agenda? It's a transaction. What do I get out of this deal? Again, if you get bad service at a restaurant, do you tip? Do they put a gun to your head and say, nigga, you better leave $20 on this table because I gave you good service? No, you walk out or you just say, hey, I didn't like the service. That's what we get. Demetria?
And then, you know, it's a lot of black people who will defend white supremacy and like from my cold dead hands, you know, I'm a defendant. I can't tell you how many a Negro, yes, I said a Negro, has said, well, what was Obama supposed to do? They wouldn't let him do it. They stopped him. It was Mitch McConnell who said he couldn't do it. But it's like, you know what? Knock it off. You find so many reasons to give, you know, especially the Democrats, a pass for not doing anything for black people. So I had this conversation online with somebody. I said, well, you know, Obama had the House and the Senate for 2 years. Well, technically, he didn't have it for 2 years. He only had it for 4 months because Ted Kennedy died and this and that happened. It's like, y'all just going, and then he put up an article. I said that was just beautiful spin. That's all it was, to give Obama a pass for not helping his own people specifically. But I want to go to Errol Jones's comment. How you doing, Errol Jones from YouTube? You say Farrakhan is dedicated leadership, but has not brought the results we are talking about. Effective leadership delivers. I want to say that is a goddamn lie from the pit of hell. Now, some of y'all, Donovan, I believe you, when y'all remember the Million Man March? How many black men do you know, dead or alive, Even, if you believe in Jesus. How many got together more than 1 million men on one day? How many men do you know has done that? It said that it was to upwards of 2 million black men there. So at that Million Man March, Farrakhan gave the blueprint. It was for, the atonement. Black America, especially black men, were supposed to, you guys were supposed to atone for the things that went wrong and go back to your neighborhoods and your
raise our families and give the message. I was there, and I was in the military. I was in the military, and I went there, and I wasn't supposed to, but I went, and it was a beautiful thing.
Right. So y'all got the blueprint, and you were supposed to, and I know some did. But you mean to tell me almost 2 million men, give or take, that no big change was made, and you want to blame Farrakhan? I mean, he can't make people do what they don't want to do. And I want to also ask this: why is it that we as black people are always blaming leadership? Where is the leader of the white people? Where is the leader of the Hispanics? Where is the leader of the Asians? Like, why do we need a leader? And then when we do get a leader, let's go all the way back to that of Marcus Garvey. When we do get a leader, what do? We get in bed with white supremacy and sell them out and their whole organization and everything that they were fighting for. And here we are over 100 years later, still talking the same things that Marcus Garvey was trying to help us do. So it ain't the leadership. It's us. We refuse to follow somebody who has the plan. There's been many black leaders, if you want to call them that has had the plan, but we don't want to follow because we too busy glomming on to white supremacy and oppression to just fully, like y'all go to church, y'all lay prostrate in front of the altar, and y'all surrender all. We refuse to surrender all to go follow a black leader with the plan because we so busy. I don't want to let go of the oppressor because the oppressor. So don't blame Farrakhan. Don't blame Farrakhan, blame yourself, and also blame yourself. And Errol, I'm not just specifically speaking to you, but blame yourself as a black man. If you need another man as a fully grown ass man to tell you how to get your ass out of this thing that we are in America.
Angela Thompson, every night. It is the truth. They would not let Obama do anything. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, Angela, but F Obama. If anything, he set us back. If anything, he set us back. See, what you need is a black leader that'll get in a position of power, that'll buck the system. See, I couldn't be a state rep because I'd be authoring bills every day. And the first bill I would author would be the bill where it needs to go up to Senate and Congress to give African Americans the right to vote fully, not renew it every 25 years. That's what I would do. If I was on the school board, I'd be fighting tooth and nail to not allow children to go back into a school system where school boards can't even have an open board meeting. If I was a governor, I would say, because the pandemic numbers are now going back up, we're going to shut this thing down. See, if you're going to be in a position of leadership, you got to know how to step on toes. You got to know when to open your mouth and fight the battle. But when you're more concerned about where your campaign money is coming from, you tend to shut your mouth. So your good Negro president, he did more for gay people than he ever did for black people. He did more for illegal immigrants than he ever did for black people. But I understand that you have to give him a pass because he was a hell of a speaker and he had a walk that was colder than Denzel Washington. But outside of that, he didn't do a damn thing for black people. And I don't give a damn what none of y'all say. The man set us back, and that's what it is. You look good, great. At least my great grandmothers and grandfathers that were still living, they got to see the dream of a black man sitting in that house. But I also tried to prepare y'all for the nightmare. I told y'all, you got 8 years out of this black man. They're going to get it out your ass in the next 4. So when you say he couldn't do nothing, these executive orders that Trump always seems to write and sign, what stopped Obama from doing it? They couldn't have stopped him from doing that.
It didn't stop him from doing executive order for the Dreamers. It didn't stop him from doing that.
So the thing is we continuously placate our black leadership. We cover for them, and we make sure that we stay in the positions that we're in. And my thing is, if that's what you want to do, don't get on this educated show with this educated panel and come through the door with some idiotic conversation. Because I promise you, by the time I finish with Demetri and Donovan and I get their calories to where they need to be, they gonna eat your ass up just like I will.
Well, let me say this. I'm with Angela, okay? He couldn't do anything. They had his hands tied, right? I'm with you, Angela. Seriously, I'm with you. So you mean to tell me we know what the Republicans had him tied up? So are you saying that the Democrats wouldn't let him do anything either? Is that what you're saying? They wouldn't let Obama do executive orders for black people? Because that's the only other side there is. So if he's got the Democrats and he's the president, he got the ACA through, which, helps everybody. The only people that can stop the president is his own party and, things that are going on with that. So was Obama running cover for other Democrats that didn't want certain things done for black people? That's what you got to look at, because again, as much as people hate Trump and you want to dog him out, Trump is revealing what the presidency can actually do. And Demetri, I've said it for years. Me and Demetri go back 30 years. I've known what the presidency could do. If the right person or the wrong person got in there, shit's gonna happen, and that's exactly what's gonna happen. So, Angelo, so when you say there was nothing he can do, you got to explain. Please explain. Why did he do the executive order on the Dreamers? How did he do that? Who authorized that? Who told him to do that? If you're not going to do nothing, do nothing. But he did an executive order for the Dreamers, people that aren't even citizens. He did that. So how can you say they didn't let him do nothing? Demetri?
I was just looking here. Obama signed 276 executive orders between 2009 and 2017. So you tell me, Angela, they wouldn't let him do nothing? I mean, he signed, I forget, but I think George Bush did like 294. So he was right up there. So you mean to tell me they wouldn't let him do nothing? But all the 276 executive orders that he signed, he couldn't do nothing specifically for black people? I mean, come on now. Because stop believing this bullshit. The lies. Oh, he couldn't do nothing. Because that's what the Democrats want y'all to think. When you didn't vote for Obama in vain, he would have loved. Well, no, he wouldn't have, because he said he didn't think that black people should get reparations. He was against it. So he didn't want to do that. But whenever we say, well, what did he do for black people specifically? Well, they wouldn't let him do nothing. He wasn't just a black people president of black people. Do you know they call Obama the first gay president? Not because he was a homosexual, but because he did so much legislation for gay people. They call him the first gay president.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to cut you off. As a matter of fact, isn't that what the Republicans were talking about when they were wailing against Obama? He's not a dictator because he was doing all of this executive orders. Isn't that what they were saying?
Right. And so, you keep running with the lie. Angela, you and a whole lot of people keep saying that he couldn't do anything. They wouldn't let him do anything. That, how we sometimes tell ourselves lies to make us feel better, so we don't actually have to face the truth. So we don't actually have to say, well, Obama didn't give a good goddamn about black people at all. He cared more about everybody else than he did black people. Even though black people voted for him to the tune of 98% of black voters voted for Obama. I mean, I get it. It feels good to fool yourself into saying, well, that's some bullshit. Okay, he's picked up his handy dandy pen in his left hand, because he's a lefty, and signed 276 executive orders, and not one of them specifically, emphasis on specifically, circle it and all of that, specifically didn't do anything for Black people. So now you know the truth. Now you can stop lying to yourself.
Give and take. Give and take. I was thinking about this as you were talking. So whether it's Obama, whether it's Clinton, the Bushes, Reagans, or whoever, see, they give, like right now, let's see what we get out the deal. If Biden wins his first day in office, he's going to deal with the immigrants. Am I correct, Donald? So he's going to give them citizenship. So what you get? Well, a couple of weeks after the election, you're going to get your turkey. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get your turkey. They're going to get the right to be American citizens. Then they're going to get the right to vote, and they don't have to vote on them every 25 years to make sure they keep that right. Am I correct? So let's see what we get. It's called give and take. It's give and take. Okay. You're going to take care of the LGBTQ. You're going to give them laws and legislation to protect them and help them advance. Well, a couple of weeks after the election, you Negroes are going to get your turkey. So it's give and take. See, the only thing you're worth is a barbecue dinner or a goddamn turkey for the most important commodity that these people have ever seen in their life, which is your vote. They can't win without your vote. You see what I'm saying? They can't win without your vote. So I want to talk to the women. Can I talk to you sisters? I want to talk to my Caucasian sisters, my Latino sisters, my immigrant sisters. I want to talk to the LGBT community. When you get mad at the man, sometimes you withhold the Putin nanny. You won't give us none. You got to earn this. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong, Don? I'm talking to you. Am I right or wrong? They hold it. And you know how you women like to play with us, especially if we're married to you and you're holding the kitty cat from us. You like to get dressed in front of us. You don't want to give us none, but all of a sudden you got to get dressed for church on a Sunday in front of us and show us all that, because you're going to figure out a way to break us down, to make us do what we need to do so that we can get what we want and you get what you want. Well, guess what I'm telling Kamala and Joe? Well, I can't do anything about it now. I've already voted. But for those that have not voted, can you please withhold, and excuse me, I told you I was going to make you mad. Can you please withhold the pussy until you get something for it on the election day? Can you withhold the Putin nanny? Can you withhold the 9 inches of limp until you get something for what you want? You make us wait. You make us suffer. Can you use the same tactics on these people? And that's why I applaud Q. Because what y'all don't realize, regardless of who wins, he's going to be in that office. He's going to have that conversation. And I'm going to tell you now, Cube is a gangster, contrary to popular opinion. He lives by a certain creed. And see, he represents a set of folk that y'all don't know nothing about that listen to him. This ain't Kanye. This Cube. They'll sit down and talk to him because a gangster gonna recognize a gangster 24/7. And I promise you, O'Connell don't want the heat that a Cube can bring to the United States of America. So at the end of the day, it's give and take. So if they want your vote, tell them give you something more than a turkey. If you want police reform, give me something more than a turkey. And you know, the one thing I hate more than anything, and I think y'all can speak on that, is the way that they have used George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Trayford Pellerin. They've used these people's memories. They've used the situation that happened to them as a political ploy to get votes. You pimp their families, not Trayford family. Talked to his daddy yesterday. But these other people, you pimp their families, and it is what it is. You have no good intentions. You're not doing right by these people, and y'all need to stop standing with these goddamn people when they come to your cities, man. So here's my question, and watch this. Where is my man, Benjamin Crump, when it comes to the dude in Philadelphia? You wasn't on the plane? You ain't got there yet? That shit don't pay that much, huh? Donovan?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're here to just put it out there and make you think about something else. You can't, again, we're not monolithic. And maybe that's our problem, because they think that we're the only group of people that vote as a hardcore block. And that's why they take us for granted. They just know the majority of us, no matter what they do to us, no matter how much they hang us and stuff, we're going to get these Negroes to vote for the next 400 and 500 years. Not once do we ever question what's going on. We don't question it. We don't say, let me think about it. Now, I tell people this all the time. I'm a recovering Democrat, like a recovering alcoholic. I'm a recovering Democrat, because for a long time I was voting and I never questioned anything. I just said, oh, well, this party says that they're for the working person and they're going to do all these things. Then I looked and I said, well, where are their actions? Their actions don't match their words. And then I went to rehab and I figured it out. Both of these parties are full of shit. And so my question for you guys, and what I would hope that you guys would do, is start questioning how you're voting these politicians and what they want to do. Wendell Champion, if I was in Houston, I'd be voting for Wendell Champion because he said something that made sense. A politician's resume is their district. Elijah Cummings over there in Baltimore. Shithole. What did Trump say? That wasn't true. That's their resume. And if you think that the person that's representing you is doing such a good job, look outside your front door. I ask Demetra in the 5-star all the time, have you ever met a broke Black Republican? I have not. I have yet to meet one.
Hell no. Hell no.
So this is why you got to question this stuff. And hopefully you guys could come to rehab with me and then start holding these bastards accountable for what they're doing in our community. Demetra?
Y'all making me hungry in the comment section. I see people talking about some fried turkey and sliced beef jerky sandwiches, and I don't even eat meat. No, but so anyway, April, I see you're talking about human rights versus civil rights, and you're absolutely right. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that there's no such thing as civil rights until we get human rights. We as Black people, and I know you take the exception with the word Black, but I'm a Black woman. I don't really have a lot of time to get off into, us being Moors and Israelites. I'm Black. But, Black people first have to be seen as human before you can go after civil rights. It just has to be that way. And so the people who have write the laws, and they don't ever see us as humans in the first place, which is why they could take over 200 years to try to pass a lynching law. I mean, to me, lynching is murder. But if you want to make an exception, great. And it was something else that I saw. Oh, yeah, and it's sticking with April. Yeah, so Mitch McConnell did block Obama. He blocked him on federal judge appointments and the Supreme Court justice appointment, and he bragged about doing it. But what about reparations? Obama said out of his own mouth, he didn't think that Black people should get reparations. But even still, hell, even if he knew he was going to be blocked, he could at least fake it. He didn't even try to, bring it up at all. I mean, he just rested on pretty. That's a term that Tyra Banks used. Rested on pretty, and knowing that Black people just automatically give him our votes just because he's the first Black, president. But we didn't ask Obama to do anything for us, and we still making excuses as to why he didn't do anything for us. So I mean, I don't know.
Civil rights and human rights. To do what these people have done to us for 400 years is a violation of human rights. I know that to be true because as soon as Malcolm came back from the United Nations to stress that this was not a violation of civil rights, this was a violation of human rights, they killed him. They killed him. You see what I'm saying? So if you're going to speak on something, please do your history. This is a violation of human rights, man. And ain't no goddamn marching and ain't no protesting Gonna fix that. So let me tell you what you need to stop doing. Stop quoting the Constitution to me. Stop bringing up the laws and the legislation to me. Because where I'm at right now and where I live at and what I deal with on a daily basis, these people don't know nothing about that and don't give a damn about that. What I'm saying is, let's have a conversation. Let's figure some things out. Because if we don't, this war, this civil war on American soil is going to happen. And you scary Negroes gonna stay in the house. And what you better do, because the soldiers gonna man the streets. If you police can't keep coming in our neighborhoods and not killing us, the table gonna be set for you not to even come in. Go police your people that you take care of. We can handle this over here. Because you ever notice, and people that bring up Farrakhan, I know one thing about a bully. They know who to mess with. Why they ain't never mess with Farrakhan? Because he's already stated it publicly. I wish you would. You already know what's going to happen if you mess with me. See, you think the brothers in the bow ties, all they do is sell papers and bean pies, huh? These are soldiers. These are born warriors. And they don't have to get out here and flex their muscle and run their mouth to get their point across. You already know when they walk in the room, ain't no games going to be played. So you know who to mess with. So, well, Farrakhan hasn't delivered the goods. Well, you know how he delivers the goods? Is when he states something and this what needs to be done. Why don't your black leadership get behind him? The ones that can fight to change the laws. See, y'all talk about holding these goddamn people accountable. Okay. So why don't you hold them people accountable that won't stand behind him? He's been had a black agenda. You won't hold him accountable for him, for that black agenda not making it up to them. You know, Gary Monroe's and Robert Williams' agenda can make it all the way to Joe Biden. Cube's agenda can make it all the way to Biden and Trump. But Farrakhan's agenda can't get out of his house, huh? Let me tell you something. Farrakhan is the truth. And they want you to believe that he's ineffective. But you're not ineffective. When I don't care what the issue was or however you did it, when you can get 1 million black men to show up somewhere, you need to be afraid of him. And I lost all respect for Barack Obama when you denounced him. All because you wanted to be something. So you denounced the strongest black man in America. I am nowhere near on the pedestal that an Obama would ever stand on. But I'd be damned if I denounce him. I'd be damned. You ain't gonna cut my show off. You ain't gonna do me nothing. I ain't turning the other cheek. You ain't spraying me with a water hose. I'm gonna eat at your lunch counters and ain't a goddamn thing you can do about it. Ain't nothing you can do about it. So, baby, please do your history check and stop reading the white man's history book and start reading the black author's history books so that you can truly learn about this situation. So when you speak of, you know, Dimitri and Donovan, the Constitution of the United States, say, man, I tell white people all the time, I laugh with them, y'all. Y'all folk were some of the dumbest people in the world. Because the one document that you could have wrote the way that you needed to write it to really mess us off, you forgot to put whites only on it. That's what you really wish you had done right now. But you slipped up, and that tells me you're dumb, so now you're in the middle of our struggle, but you can't lead me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, you guys, like I said, we have a week to go before this election. If you haven't voted, please vote your interest. I'm not saying vote just to vote. I'm saying vote your damn interest, your pocketbooks, down ballot if you have to. And for those of you guys that haven't even considered looking at the Green Party's agenda, I strongly recommend you go ahead and look at it. James Campbell, go ahead and let's get that question.
That James said, and I played ball with James in high school. What do you think needs to be done for black people by President of the United States? And what is the modern day version of 40 acres and a mule? Your 40 acres and a mule right now, James, is your house and your stinking ass car. And you're not willing to jeopardize that for anybody or for anything. What needs to be done by the president of the United States is there needs to be education done so that we can clearly understand that the president of the United States is nothing but a goddamn figurehead. He's a figurehead. You see who called the shots in Washington right now. His name is Mitch McConnell. You need to be flipping them House and them Senate seats. Them congressional seats and them Senate seats need to be flipped. This is why you don't need the straight ticket. And you need to go down your ballot to get the right people in those seats. Those people control the United States of America. Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Reagan. You understand what I'm saying? All of these people were nothing but figureheads. Now you see why these people don't want term limits on those seats that they sit in, because they hold all the power. Demetra?
Yeah, so I always say, there's been black agendas since that of Marcus Garvey, and we talked about Farrakhan and in the Message to the Black Man in America by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, there's a black agenda. So, we need to stop saying that we don't have an agenda. But Gary, you talked about it jumping off, as far as, and I'm paraphrasing, but us not being prepared, basically these, white people go crazy. If this ain't gonna be in the future, y'all better be holding on to your shit if Donald Trump don't win next Tuesday, okay? Now, I'm not one to like to try to scare people, freak people out, but let me tell you something. If that kumquat, known as the Orange Man, don't win next week, I suggest if your heart pumps Kool-Aid, stay in the house. Stay in the house, because his peoples, and that's all I'm going to say.
Well, I want to piggyback on you before I give it to Donovan. We rolling tonight, y'all, so let's just keep moving. All I need to hear for the next 2 weeks, back spasms or not, I got to say it. It's click, clack. The threats have already been issued. So whoever wins, I'm going to wake up the next day and I got to live. But if Trump don't win, all I need to hear you saying is click, clack. They've issued the threats. And the first thing that I'm going to do after the election, the day after, I'm going to the local police department. I want to file a report that I have been threatened by multiple people that if Trump didn't win, they were going to try to kill black people. It's already on record. So when you bring your ass around here, you still going to think it's Halloween, the way I'm going to knock your fucking pumpkin off. Don't come at me with that craziness, because I don't care either way. But all I need to hear is click, clack. Donovan?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. I mean, but, at the end of the day, if Trump doesn't win, the world isn't going to crumble and blow up and explode. But I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, but you guys notice on the news, they keep talking about the black man and the black vote, how pivotal the black vote is, stuff like that, because they know they need us to get the seat. Without the presidency, who is the executive, who is supposed to execute the laws. The president is, like the 5-star said, is a figurehead. So you need that seat to execute the laws that you want to do. We need the black vote, the black vote. Oh, the black men got to come up and vote. Why are they always blaming the black man when nobody's talking about the 25 to 30% of white women that voted for Trump, even though he said grab them by the pussy and women ain't shit and all this other stuff like that? They don't ever bring that up, and they put it on us, but that's okay. If you have that kind of power within these two basic parties, you guys heard what Jared Kushner said, trying to get black votes and bullshit and stuff like that. We are the deciding factor. So if we're the deciding factor, why the hell don't we have anything? With that kind of power, we have nothing, but yet they need us to win these elections. But we ask for nothing, and when you don't ask for nothing, you don't get nothing. So you guys got to really look at what is going on and say, yeah, wait a minute. Hold up. If we don't vote, they don't win. It's a transaction. So, Demetra?
Click, clack.
Yeah, so you guys, we're gonna get ready to get out of here, but it's really just food for thought at this point. But I can't stress that enough. Now I hope nothing really happens next week if Trump doesn't win, and I think it's a very big possibility that Trump will not win. It's a very strong possibility, but just keep your head on swivel because there's a lot of people who are going to be very upset. I suggest you get all your toilet papers and your zuzus and your wham whams, before the election jump off and plan on staying in the house for a little bit because, there's a lot of people ain't going to be happy about it. But anyway, so Gary, what are we talking about tomorrow?
Oh, politics. I mean, we need to ride it out to give the people the information, but if we come up with something better, then, we'll talk about it. Say, man, final thoughts, Mr. Donovan.
Final thoughts. November 3rd, that's the day it's gonna click. And we know Trump is going to challenge it. He's got his 6 Supreme Court folks. So you ladies, being the backbone of the Democratic Party, nice going. 6 Republican court folks sitting up there. Nice job, Democrats, however you do that. But I just want to tell you guys, election night, tune in to the War Zone because we are going to be live going over the numbers. This is where I earn my bread and butter because I love this kind of stuff. And we're going to just count it off as the table gets ran and how things are going to go. So if you're not busy and you don't want to hear the same old, well, the black woman vote and the black woman this and the black man ain't shit and the black man, tune into the War Zone. You won't hear any of that. You're going to hear exactly as it happens and what the meaning of this election is for you.
Click, clack. Final thoughts, Demetri.
Y'all know what a zuzu and a wham wham is? What is it, Gary?
It could be a little bit of anything, man. I know though.
That's a kind of like a prison term for snack foods and the junk foods, your top ramens, and the zuzus and wham whams, junk foods. So get your arsenal of food and your toilet paper and what else were they hoarding? Paper towels and all of that together for a couple of days because white people ain't gonna be happy if Trump does not get in. And so you guys, we'll see y'all tomorrow.
My final thoughts are simple, man. The threat has already been made. Click, clack, click, clack. And that's what it is, man. Say, man, another spirited discussion with the best in the business, man. My man, Donovan Sadiq was in the building. The Queen, Demetri K. And Mr. Unpredictable, the 5-star general. Make sure you tune in the morning. War Zone Morning Show, Street 100 The Heat. Man, call us up. Talk to us. You can ask Uncle Rodney anything you want at 8:30 in the morning. At 8:30 in the morning, you can ask him anything you want. That number is 832-975-8100. Say, call in. Tomorrow is Wet and Wild Wednesdays on that show. Say, man, I promise you, make sure you got on your best pair of boy shorts because you ain't going to be able to wear them all day when I finish. Until tomorrow, we going to holler at you.